Welcome to this comprehensive exploration of one of the most transformative principles ever set to paper, the relationship between thought and character. In the words of James Allen, the objective of this study is not to provide an exhaustive treatise on the power of the mind, but rather to stimulate you to the discovery and perception of a fundamental truth that you are the maker of yourself. This discovery is rooted in the understanding that mind is the master weaver, creating both the inner garment of your character and the outer garment of your circumstances. If you have previously woven a life defined by ignorance or pain, you now possess the knowledge to begin weaving a life of enlightenment and happiness. The foundation of this entire philosophy is encapsulated in the ancient aphorism, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." This statement is so comprehensive that it reaches out to every condition and circumstance of a human life. It posits that a person is literally what they think. Your character is not a fixed, unchangeable entity given to you by birth or luck. Rather, your character is the complete sum of all your thoughts. This realization is the first step towards self-mastery. It implies that by changing the ledger of your mind, you inevitably change the essence of your being. To understand how this construction occurs, we must look at the biological law of thought. Allen provides a profound analogy. As a plant springs from a seed and could not exist without it, every act of a person springs from the hidden seeds of thought and could not have appeared without them. This law is absolute and applies equally to those acts we call spontaneous or unpremeditated, as it does to those that are deliberately executed. Nothing happens in your life that did not first exist as a seed in the soil of your mind. In this divine husbandry, your actions are described as the blossoms of your thoughts, and your experiences, whether they be joy or suffering, are the fruits. Thus, every person garners the sweet or bitter fruits of their own mental husbandry, that is, what they have patiently cultivated. This process is a growth by law, not a creation by artifice. In the hidden realm of thought, cause and effect are as absolute and undeviating as they are in the visible material world. A noble and godlike character is not a matter of favor or chance. It is the natural result of continued effort in right thinking and a long-cherished association with godlike thoughts. Conversely, an ignoble and animal-like character is the result of the continued harboring of base and degrading thoughts. You are, therefore, made or unmade by yourself. In the armory of thought, you are the blacksmith. Within this internal workshop, you forge the weapons by which you may destroy yourself, but you also fashion the tools with which you build for yourself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. Through the right choice and true application of thought, you can ascend to divine perfection. Yet, through the abuse and wrong application of thought, you can descend below the level of the beast. Between these two extremes lie all the grades of character, and you are their maker and master. This is perhaps the most gladdening truth pertaining to the soul, that you are the master of your thoughts, the molder of your character, and the shaper of your destiny. As a being endowed with power, intelligence, and love, and as the lord of your own thoughts, you hold the key to every situation. You contain within yourself a transforming and regenerative agency by which you may make yourself whatever you will. It is essential to realize that you are always the master, even in your weakest and most abandoned state. However, when you live in weakness or degradation, you are a foolish master who misgoverns your own household. The moment you begin to reflect upon your condition and search diligently for the law upon which your being is established, you begin to become the wise master. A wise master is one who directs their energies with intelligence and fashions their thoughts toward fruitful issues. Becoming a conscious master is not a matter of luck. It is a discovery made within yourself. This discovery is totally a matter of application, self-analysis, and experience. Allen suggests that just as gold and diamonds are obtained only by much searching and mining, you can find every truth connected with your being if you will dig deep into the mine of your soul. To prove that you are the maker of your character and the builder of your destiny, you must watch, control, and alter your thoughts. You must trace their effects upon yourself, upon others, and upon your life and circumstances. This requires linking cause and effect through patient practice and investigation. Every experience, even the most trivial or everyday occurrence, should be utilized as a means of obtaining self-knowledge, which is defined as understanding, wisdom, and power. In this pursuit, the law is absolute. He that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. The door of the temple of knowledge is open only to those who approach it with patience, practice, and ceaseless importunity. To further illustrate this, consider the mind as a garden. A garden may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild, but whether it is tended or neglected, it must and will bring forth results. If you do not purposefully put useful seeds into the garden of your mind, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall there and will continue to produce their kind. Just as a gardener keeps a plot free from weeds to grow required flowers and fruits, you must tend the garden of your mind. This involves weeding out all wrong, useless, and impure thoughts while cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. By pursuing this process of mental gardening, you eventually discover that you are the master gardener of your soul and the director of your life. You begin to understand with increasing accuracy how thought forces and mind elements operate in the shaping of your character and destiny. Thought and character are essentially one. Because character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance, the outer conditions of your life will always be found to be harmoniously related to your inner state. This does not mean that your circumstances at any given time indicate your entire character, but it does mean those circumstances are intimately connected with some vital thought element within you that is indispensable to your current development. Every person is where they are by the law of their being. The thoughts you have built into your character have brought you to your current position, and in the arrangement of your life, there is no element of chance. All is the result of a law which cannot err. This is true for those who feel out of harmony with their surroundings as well as those who are contented. As a progressive and evolving being, you are where you are so that you may learn and grow. Once you learn the spiritual lesson a circumstance contains, it passes away to give place to others. You are buffeted by circumstances only as long as you believe yourself to be a creature of outside conditions. But when you realize you are a creative power and that you may command the hidden soil and seeds of your being out of which circumstances grow, you then become the rightful master of yourself. Anyone who has practiced self-control and self-purification for any length of time knows that circumstances grow out of thought. They will have noticed that the alteration in their circumstances has been in exact ratio with their altered mental condition. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. It reaches the height of its cherished aspirations and falls to the level of its unchastened desires. Circumstances are simply the means by which the soul receives its own. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind produces its own kind, blossoming into act and bearing its own fruitage. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts bear bad fruit. Therefore, the outer world of circumstance shapes itself to the inner world of thought. As the reaper of your own harvest, you learn through both suffering and bliss. A man does not end up in a jail or a charity shelter by the tyranny of fate, but by the pathway of degrading thoughts and base desires. Nor does a pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by mere external force. The criminal thought had long been secretly fostered in the heart, and the hour of opportunity simply revealed its gathered power. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. In conclusion, you are the Lord and Master of thought, the maker of yourself, and the author of your environment. Even at birth, the soul comes to its own, and through every step of its earthly pilgrimage, it attracts those combinations of conditions which reveal its own purity or impurity, its strength or its weakness. You do not attract what you want, but what you are. Your inmost thoughts and desires are fed with their own food, be it foul or clean. The divinity that shapes your ends is in yourself. It is your very self. You are only manacled by yourself. Thought and action can be the jailers of fate if they are base, or they can be the angels of freedom if they are noble. You do not get what you wish or pray for. You get what you justly earn. Your wishes and prayers are only gratified when they harmonize with your thoughts and actions. To build a strong and noble character, you must cease to whine and revile, and instead commence to search for the hidden justice which regulates your life. As you adapt your mind to that regulating factor, you will cease to accuse others as the cause of your condition and begin to build yourself up in strong and noble thoughts.